2024 is upon us with a packed schedule of football with the FA Cup, AFCON, and of course, Premier League action. So why not beat the January Blues and watch every game with the atmosphere it deserves down at your local Green King pub?
Don't settle for a dodgy stream. If it is on the telly, it's bound to be on at your local Green King Sports pub on some of their huge HD screens. If you download the Green King Sports app, you'll also receive 10% off every single drink whenever there's a game on. Now, the venue offers a range of low and non-alcoholic drinks too. So if you're like me, you're doing dry January, trying to fight the urges, doesn't mean you have to settle. So yeah, make sure you get yourself down to Green King this January to enjoy a range of sports and also a range of alcoholic options, whether that be alcoholic or non-alcoholic. Hello and welcome back to the Talking Wolves podcast. Now, I don't know about you, but I've still not come down from Cloud 9. We are joined alongside the great man himself, Dave, as a party. Dave, how are you feeling after yesterday, mate? We all look absolutely goose. I'm so tired. Like, I'm so emotionally exhausted from yesterday.
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm knackered as well, to be fair. Voice has got a little bit better. I just sounded like Sean Dyche for the last 24 hours, to be fair. But now, other than that, yeah, very, very good. And obviously, it'll be a good chat today because I know they were a little bit nervous last week on the pod. But yeah, all good. Thank you, mate.
Well, you saw what I was like before the game, mate. And just, even at half time, people come up to me saying, like, what do you reckon? I couldn't speak. I could not speak. I was that nervous. I was shaking like a shitting dog. I spent the start of the week feeling not very confident, and then middle of the week really confident, and then Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday, I was thinking, oh my God, like I'm a bag of nerves. I know Jord, who's joined alongside us today too, you were feeling the nerves too, weren't you, mate?
I've just seen the script many times before, and I think I'll go back to that COVID game where they come and beat us at Molineux, and I'm adamant that Albion team was worse than the one we played on the weekend, and they still got a result against arguably a better Wolves side. And yeah, look, I had no confidence at all. Even though on paper we should win, and I think we won at a canter in the end. To be honest with you, I think it was very easy, but we'll get on to that in a little bit. Like derby games, form and everything else goes out the window, doesn't it? And yeah, harder took the scruffiest of scruffy 1-0 wins and get out of there. And it wasn't too dissimilar to that, but yeah, just delighted that we got the job done now, and they can shut up about everything else now. They got rid of their Hawthorns hoodoo, and we move on.
Yeah, I mean, it was coming up to 10,000 days that Wolves hadn't won at the Hawthorns, and I mean, if you look at it in another way, we're now, 12 years unbeaten?
12 years unbeaten. Put that in the trophy cabinet.
Yeah. But let's talk about the build-up, Dave. Obviously, you come to mind, didn't you? And we got a taxi down. I mean, it all started on my estate, didn't it? When we got in someone else's, we got in someone else's taxi. The two taxis pulled up, and a group of lads come out, and Dave went, just make sure it's the right taxi, and it weren't. So we got out, and these lads walks across, and obviously they were going the game. He's like, "You Wolves or Albion?" And I was like, "Wolves." He's like, "We're Albion." And we were like, "Fuck off, God, fuck off."
Smash the Ubers up.
Yeah, like quarter to 10 in the morning. So it all started from there, Dave. But how are you feeling? Because I know we went to the pub a little bit beforehand, and I was shitting myself.
I was all right. I think, I don't know, I felt quietly confident all week, and I didn't mean that in a disrespectful way to Albion, because I knew they'd give us a good game regardless, but I felt confident that we would get the job done. So even there, really, like when we'd gone to your local, and it was a West Brom boozer, and
Stronghold, Albion stronghold, mate.
There were Albion fans there, but there was no trouble as such, really. Obviously we just kept our heads down. We didn't give it the big in. We were with our friends Vaughan and Will, and I don't think we would have had much backing off them pair. No disrespect to them either. So
I'll put the same about all three of you, to be honest.
So no, we had a couple of drinks to calm the nerves. Matt had probably
I think I had about 4 January in 10 minutes.
Yeah, emphatically. But yeah, it was a good way to start the morning, I suppose.
Yeah,
Cheeky Mackey's breakfast en route for me as well.
Dave was on the latte chasers down the local. But Jord, you watched it from home. How are you feeling pre-match? What was the coverage like?
coverage was fine. I think. I was gutted I couldn't go. I was still hoping that someone would cough up a ticket to me. Like I said, I had a few options. Even our late and well-loved Finn Morris, who we haven't seen for a very long time, even almost coughed up a ticket last minute, but no dice. So no, it's slightly gutted, to be at home watching it. But yeah, the nerves are still there, and you're in a household where my missus is an Albion fan and stuff as well, and a dad is as well. So I thought I just don't want the stick. Like I remember what it was like a few years ago in the COVID. I just thought I don't want the stick. So yeah, Sage nervous. I was on the Sports Direct mugs of tea rather than the beers because I thought I can't bring myself to drink at 10:30. I'll at home. I think that's problems. So just crack one open afterwards. So yeah, it was.
Cracked one out afterwards, more like.
Yeah, one of them a bit later on as well. Yeah.
Yeah. To be fair, I'd not had a drinking over a month, and the beers.
I thought you were going to say something else then, Matt. Then.
That'd be daft. About an hour. No, nut January. Try again tomorrow. To be fair, it went straight to my head. But starting off, Dave, that first half, I thought, look, we know West Brom were going to come at us, as you said on last week's pod, Dave. They come in your face, and they did. And I thought with that slow start, Dave, I thought, oh God, it's going to be one of those afternoons.
Yeah, I mean, we couldn't really get our foot on the ball and have good spells of possession. And again, I don't think all throughout the whole afternoon, I think they had one chance second half. Yeah, second half where they put it over the bar. Yeah, but throughout the game, really, I didn't feel that threatened by them. They had a couple of half chances, some real soft headers that went straight at Jose Sarr, but it was a little bit of a concern. There were once or twice where they beat I think Doc predominantly. Semedo even, got. I think the issue with the Semedo thing was I don't think Netto was at his best yesterday. I know obviously he scored the opening goal, but Netto didn't really give Semedo the protection. So I think Semedo got spun once or twice. And I thought if I continue doing us down the wings like this, we could be in a bit of trouble. But other than that, we dealt with things quite well, and it was just a matter of time, really. I think whoever got the first goal was going to go on to win the game. And it's quite important that obviously we managed to get that just before half time.
We had a couple of chances. Jord, Wallace's header, which in the ground I thought was like an absolute sitter, but I think I was that like zoned in on like every time Albion got into like our half, I was like so nervous. But looking back, it was a pretty poor effort, bit of a half chance, really, wasn't it? There's no real pace on the ball.
Yeah,
just a head Star, if you remember.
Yeah, no, yeah, it was a little bit. The ball was a little bit behind him, and like I say, it was nothing really. They got in, like Dave said, they got in a couple of times round, out wide against us. But I sort of think that was a part of the game plan from a defensive point of view, from us as well, because they're putting balls in the box again. With like, I don't even think Thomas Santi's over 6 foot, is he? I think he's quite a small guy. With Dawson, Totti, and Kilman, we should be winning that every day of the week, and we did, to be honest with you. And yeah, there was the first 15 minutes I thought we were extremely slow out the blocks, and I don't really feel like we settled into the game until Netto's goal at all. So I mean, that was the big changing point, and as soon as that happened, I felt like we played in reverse pretty much for most of the rest of the game. I thought we pretty much bossed it and cruised the game for the rest of it.
Yeah, we weren't very good at all, to be honest. I thought that overall, probably Albion had the better chances. I don't think they were the better team, but I think they probably created more clearer chances than Wolves. But Dave, let's talk about that Netto goal. First and foremost, not sure what the Albion players trying to do. Put it right on Jed Wallace's foot, but he could. I mean, Doc read it like a book, didn't he? And he did extremely. I know he gets a lot of stick, and obviously I'm not saying he's not his biggest fan, but I rate 8-0 a lot higher. But he's read that exceptionally well, Dave, and to be able to compose and set Netto free, I think the whole ground knew as soon as Netto got onto that ball, something was going to happen here. And you ordered Albion fans on the videos going, take it to the corner. Not sure that's quite how it works. And then you got Albion fans saying, you know what he wants to do? He wants to cut inside. I was like, it's all right saying that, but it's stopping him. That's the hard part.
Yeah, I think the one thing with Doc is that I know sometimes his sort of work rate getting back into his position after defending a counter attack isn't great, but I think his defensive awareness is very good. Defensive positioning can be very good at times as well, and I think that was a prime example of that yesterday. And started off that move, and I think that was sort of the one way Wolves were going to take the lead, really. We've seen this season we play our best football on the counter attack, and whenever we had the possession, Albion sort of parked sort of 10, 11 men behind the ball, which you would have expected either way. So that was really the first chance we had to counter attack and try and have a proper effort on goal, and thankfully we took that chance. I think the thing with Netto as well, he wasn't obviously he burst forward, but he wasn't even at his quickest. I don't think
He was hobbling a bit to me.
I think he looked tired. Yeah. So I didn't think throughout the game that he was at his best, and he wasn't hitting his top speeds either. But still, I mean, there's some fantastic videos of obviously the footage that ITV put out, the FA Cup put out, but there's so many clips going around of fan footage as well. One from behind the goal, one from the Albion fans nearer to the Wolves fans, and obviously the little cheer when they managed to get half a tackle in them and the finish. I think the keeper will be slightly disappointed, but I think it's so Netto hits it across himself, across the body, and the keeper's almost shifted his weight completely onto the other foot. So great finish, and obviously great celebration as well. And Tommy Doyle telling them to calm down, Netto, fingers in his ears, and it's great way to take the lead, and good timing as well for Wolves, because they had to go in at half time ahead, really.
I think one of the best kind of noises in football is when you've got a penalty and the keeper saves it and then they put in the rebound, and that's what it reminded. That's what it reminded me of, Jord. But maybe the keeper should have done better. But I think it's a smart finish from Netto. But that celebration, I was with in the first half, because there was more than 4,000 Wolves fans in that end, by the way. It was heaving. It was horrible. I had to move second half because I couldn't even stand up. But I was with a couple of people who worked at Wolves, who were working in around the club, who had been given the day off, which was obviously very, very, very good for them. And in the first half, Netto went over to take a corner. And obviously Albion fans are giving him loads. And they said, that's what he needs, because he needs to know that he needs to get riled up, basically, for him to perform. And Jord, I think that celebration probably sums it up.
Well, the best way to retire or answer any sort of criticism is just put the ball in the back of the net. That's what hurts the most, isn't it? And like I said again, I feel like he was average at best yesterday, Netto, but the one chance and the one opportunity he had to put the ball in the back of the net, he did. Look, I think no matter what happened now, or what happens in the future when it comes to Netto, Cunha, even Gary O'Neill to some extent, they've etched themselves in folklore now for Wolves fans. They'll never take that away from them. And it'll always be the replay of the goal that's going to get replayed, and even montages of Netto if he ever leaves the club, which might be this summer. Hopefully not. That'll be for Wolves fans. That'll be probably maybe even top one Pedro Neto memory. Look, I think he took it extremely well, and I've seen a few people saying the goalkeeper for Albion should do a bit better, but I think it's just that is it the ball that quick when it's sort of bundled over? Was it Cunha who made the tackle, or Swift, wasn't it? I think got the toe to it. I just don't. Yeah,
it was. Sorry.
Well, he didn't do a lot, but he was playing. I just think he just hit it back into the reverse corner, and the goalie didn't have much chance. It was a real smart finish.
Yeah, it was great. But to be fair, I felt like the Wolves end was pretty quiet up until then. I think there was a lot of nervous tension. I was struggling to get my words out. I was that nervous. But Dave started the second half. I thought the second half for Wolves, before obviously the goal and the incident, I felt like we controlled it a bit more. And Gary O'Neill may have put a bit of a rocket up the arse. One of the phrases I picked up on as well, which I like from O'Neill, is he called it a tactical fix, not a change, but a fix. Almost like, okay, that's sorted, which I quite like to have picked up on. But I felt like Wolves were probably the better team in the second half overall.
I think it showed the quality in the two teams just throughout the game. And I know you mentioned slightly earlier Albion probably had the better sort of clear-cut chances, but I don't necessarily think they did really, because I can't remember. Like I said, other than that chance I put over the bar earlier, I don't think they worried us and troubled us too much. But ultimately, I think the Premier League quality showed, because we had two clear-cut chances, or three clear-cut chances, because I think Cunha had one towards the end as well. And we took them. We were deadly. And that's the difference. And I know it's against the Championship side. That's the difference between Wolves of this year and Wolves of previous seasons. That, we might have had chances, but we didn't take them. Whereas on Sunday, we had 4 shots on target, I think, and 2 of them we put into the back of the net, So
and one was quite a smart save from the keeper.
Yeah, exactly. So I think you're right. The second half, it was a lot more comfortable. I think that was the key, and I was intrigued to see how we would come out in the second half. Would we part 11 men behind the ball, which Gary O'Neill hasn't ever done really. I think I mentioned it after the Everton game. I think under Nuno, Bruno Lage, and even Lopetegui, you go 1-0 up, 2-0 up at that game at half time, you'll put 11 men behind the ball. And Wolves didn't have to do that yesterday. It just took control of the game. I think you could easily tell who was the Premier League team out of the two. And it was just a matter of time, really. I don't think it was ever going to be a pretty game. I spoke to a few Wolves fans, and they're quite disappointed with how we played. But like I said, we didn't have to get out of first or second gear. And I think the main aim yesterday was to go in, get the win, and get back home.
I think the players did well not to get sucked into the occasion, and because it could have quite easily boiled over. There's quite a few meaty tackles, especially the Wallace one on Doyle. And to be fair, I think the ref did well to keep a lid on it. I thought the referee was excellent.
Yeah. Top. Well, I mentioned it before. We had him. Everton was the last game, and I think he did quite well there as well. And
probably because he won both of them.
Yeah, no, but I think in terms of the refereeing yesterday as well, would have been a lot of referees. There were some earlier tackles as well, where a lot of referees would have given away some cheap yellow cards. But I think he did quite well to do that. And even it was before even the trouble started, and Tommy Doyle was having stuff thrown at him. And then that's when the big tackles started coming in. So I think the referee did quite well to control the tempers and tensions as much as he could, really.
I think Wolves are quite happy for Albion to have the ball as well, because we seem to be most recently very good at controlling the game without the ball. And people might say, they're part of the bus, whatnot. But you've seen that graph floating around on Twitter this morning, but we've said it for the last few weeks. Like in terms of defending the box, Wolves are up there. And I know you said it, Jord, a little bit earlier. Wolves are up there, and I think they're comfortable. I know when Fellows came on, he ran at Semedo a little bit, and I do like Tom Fellows. I know I spoke about him on the last pod, but it just felt comfortable. I think that Asante chance, Jord, if that goes 1-1, it's a completely different game. But I think after that, it just felt a bit comfortable.
Yeah, it was. And there was without being too disrespectful to our neighbours, there was a big class. I think there was a big golfing class. Honestly, I really do. And I think, like I say, you can control football games without the ball, and that's what we did. I feel we're very good at it. We've seen it all season. We set traps and we spring on the opposition when they're vulnerable, and that's exactly how the Cunha's goal come in. We set a trap. They're probably their defensive line slightly higher than they want to be, and it's just one ball and we threw, and it was game over as soon as that went in. And yeah, I think if Asante does score that chance, obviously it's a different game. It's 1-1, and all the momentum and the crowd would have gone up. But yeah, I think we did very well to control the home crowd as well in terms of until the second goal went in. We know everything happened. But we didn't let them ever really get a sustained amount of pressure or even a sustained amount of atmosphere going, where they were putting crosses in or winning corner after corner, or it just felt like, say, really comfortable. Really,
I feel like Wolves just took the pace out of the game as well. Whenever they felt like it was getting a bit of momentum, even at the back, he got Dawson rolling the ball with the top of his foot, and Wolves fans are getting a bit frustrated. But it's just 1-0 up away from home. Just calm down, especially against the Albion. But Dave, that Cunha goal, lovely little ball through from Kilman, wasn't it? Looked, I thought in the ground he looked offside, but don't have the luxury of VAR, thankfully. I know we said on the morning of the day that no doubt we'll probably get fucked over by a decision that's really obvious and there's no VAR, but it's It is a good finish from Cunha, but I think that the thing that we've got to talk about the most is that celebration. He just knew if he scored, he was gonna do something.
Yeah, it felt like he was almost in slow motion in the ground, because I remember as the ball went through, the keeper the positioning was so
Hesitated.
weird. It just seemed like he was all over the place. I think he came, and I honestly think if he rushed out, he would have made the chance a lot more difficult for Cunha. But he sort of came off his line and stopped, and obviously he just slotted it in between his legs, and you knew there was going to be something. I think Cunha's the almost charismatic out of these people. You know, he's out there, and
He's an emotional guy, isn't he?
yeah. So I think that showed with the celebration. I could see he was doing something from my seat, but I couldn't quite see what it was until the end of the game. It's quite a funny celebration. Obviously, depends on how you translate. Does he mean there's Wolves fans everywhere, or does he mean this state? You know, this is our place, this is our stadium. But yeah, no, brilliant finish. I'm just glad again. A lot went through him. I think if you were a neutral watching that game, you could tell that Matheus Cunha is a player with some serious quality, but still not one of his better performances in the Wolves shirt, which says a lot. So the fact that, you know, taking his chances, and we're starting to see him get on the score sheet and goal contributions still is a good bonus for me.
Yeah, I thought he was a little bit off it. I thought most were a little bit off it, to be honest. I thought Doyle had a really good game though, and he really rose to the occasion. But let's talk about that crowd trouble, Dave. Loads of rumours going around, whether it was a Wolves fan in the home end, someone spitting at Carl Bartley's family. There's also the rumour that someone in the home end had dropped a fiver, and everyone kind of ran around. But it looks like that there's Wolves fans in the home end, which begs the question: why on earth, if you're an Albion fan, would you sell your ticket to a Wolves fan?
I see this from both sides, really. I think that's the main one, really, and Albion fans are moaning about it. But ultimately, you know, you saw how they were doing their thing, you know, with tickets. There's some people saying that was to do with the staff and the players' families of West Brom. So that's obviously something that they're going to have to investigate. But as a Wolves fan, if I knew I was going to a ground, especially say even if we were playing, I think if you're on the opposite end, you just don't celebrate. Full stop. Even if Burnley came to Molineux and a Burnley fan celebrated in the South Bank, he's probably going to get battered. And you would expect the same if you went to Turf Moor and started celebrating after Wolves scored there. It's just what it is. So when you're doing it in a Black Country derby, you're asking for trouble. The issue I've got with it is, yeah, you're annoyed. You're going to have about 30, 40, 50 people around there peed off. It's then you've got the other 20, 30 blokes running from the other end of the stadium to try and get across because they think there's a massive scuffle. Then you got the players involved. And then you got the idiots down by the Wolves fans, then trying to run at the Wolves fans. So it just got blown out of proportion. And I think it's been way too overhyped by mainstream media. Like they've made it so much bigger of an issue than it was.
To the dark ages. It's not a problem in football anymore.
No, but like ITV obviously switched the camera, like turned the cameras away from what was going on for the most part. I've had a couple of radio stations message me saying, "Can you give your thoughts? Like, do you think this is going to be an ongoing issue? Safety trouble, this, and this?" I've heard on BBC WM today someone suggest that every time these two play, the away fans should be banned again, as if it was the Wolves fans' fault. So I genuinely think, other than obviously there is going to be the odd Wolves fan that was in the home end, the Wolves fans was like ridiculously well behaved. And I honestly, you know, with our track record, I thought we'd get at least one dickhead run on the pitch, or somebody try and run on the pitch at the full-time whistle, but no one did. And I think fair play to Wolves fans for that. But from what I understand, Wolves weren't happy with the statement that West Brom put out either. So I think the FA will look at this, and I don't think Wolves will be in any trouble. I think it's going to be mainly West Brom. But like I said towards the start, and I've said to many people, fair play to the police and the stewards, because I think they handled that as well as they could have done, to be fair.
Yeah, West Midlands police earned their coin the Sunday, but I thought when that Albion fan, the one with the white hair, who had the old fella, who would I've seen in another video, he kicked someone in the back of the head.
That was the Wolves fan. So Wolves fan was there. But again, the police and stewards all ran him, got it under control. Yeah, you're gonna have a few, you know, flicking the V's at him or whatever. But then he comes in, a little fly kick. And then what? I don't know what he's thinking was, that bloke. I don't know if he thought, shit, I'm gonna get arrested, so I might as well just run on the pitch. But you couldn't have got. He's the type of guy, you know, when they're talking to Wolves fans on like national news and they get the scruffiest fan. That must have been West Brom's alternative.
Yeah, it's. I thought when he ran on the pitch, I thought, oh god, someone's going to come out the away end here, like choose your fighter,
Yeah.
and it's going to be like there's going to be a ding dong in the middle of the pitch. But thankfully, no one did. But I've had it before when I've been even last season, Everton, last home game of the season, where they scored like the 94th minute, 95th, and equaliser, or something like that, and someone jumped up in front of me. And I was raging, and I'd like grab the bloke and like try to chuck him down the stairs, and the steward's got him out. But like you do react like that, so I understand like people getting frustrated. But then when you've got like 300 or 400 tough guys running from the Brummie Road end,
That was the stupidest bit. Like I said, if something happened, like say I'm in the South Bank, say something happened in the middle of the Steve Ball, who the hell's gonna run over there to try and get involved? Just let the stewards and the police do their job. Like, what were you trying to achieve?
I had a lot of mates, obviously Albion fans, who went to the game. Quite a few of them were in the Millennium Corner. So if you're looking at the pitch from the away end, that corner on the right hand side, we're all giving it loads. And my mate said, and again, I don't think he'd have any reason to lie. They were all saying, "Get on the pitch and get the game abandoned."
I wouldn't have been surprised.
Get on and get it abandoned because they'll have to replay it. They could not deal with the fact that the only thing that they've really got over us, yes, the 5-1, but in terms of like recent history, that was slipping away from the grasp, and they couldn't deal with it, Jord.
No, that's it. Like you say, it's almost clutching at straws. And I saw that there was that Twitter page that did the day since Wolves won at a Hawthorn.
They've not tweeted, have they?
Like 9,996. No, I think they've changed it for day since Wolves beat in the league. And then I saw another page saying day since Wolves beat West Brom at the Molineux and all this sort of stuff. So look, the clutching at straws. At the end of the day, like there's a big difference between both clubs at the moment, like on and off the pitch. We're in different leagues for one. We're in different trajectories. If they don't go up this year, I've got some of my best mates are Albion fans as well. Genuinely, if they don't go up this year, they're fucked. Like they're absolutely fucked when it comes to money. And this takeover should help them or could help them. But if it falls through, mate, they're in dire straits. And I know it took 12 years to play them again at the Hawthorns, but I know in all seriousness, if we don't draw them in a cup game, it could be 12 years again till we play them in a league game because they ain't getting up anytime soon. And I don't see us getting relegated anytime soon either. So, like you say, Matt, it's like that's all they had. That little scrap and that little piece of history, and they will keep lauding that beat us 5-1. So fucking what?
They're doing it at the end of the game. They're trying to do it at the end of the game as well.
Who gives a fuck?
They're doing it on one hand,
Honestly, who cares? Like you get that argument, and then you say, "Oh, we played in Europe," and they're like, "Oh, well, that's all you got over us." Well, we've got a lot more over you as well, actually. But
we don't fucking need to talk about it.
No, exactly that. And like I say, it's I want to play them every year. I think I said the pod before, like. I love the derby. I love the excitement about it. I love what happens with it. But I mean, after what happened on the weekend, like next time Wolves play Albion, West Midlands Police are gonna throw the book and try and get it played behind closed doors or no away fans and they will, and they've got evidence to say that. But like you said already, Dave, I think the Wolves fans are exemplary. I don't think there's any arrests in the ground, Wolves fans, and all the trouble stem from the home end. So if it comes to fines or punishments by the FA, I can only see it going one way. There's no possible way they can fine or penalise Wolves for how the crowd trouble and disturbances went on the weekend.
The thing is, though, like the police were excellent in terms of managing it, but that Millennium Corner to the right hand side, like for a large part of. Well, when it first started kicking off, all the coppers ran down to the Brummie Road, Halfords Lane. And then once the police got round to the right-hand side, that's when the Albion fans started kicking off. It's like they could have quite easily ran to the away. And I'm not saying like, we're big hard men, but could have quite easily they could have just run over. But they didn't wait for the police to come. So I don't know. To be fair, a lot of it were kids, though. A lot of it like 15, 16, 17-year-olds giving it the big one on their first Black Country derby.
I've said a lot of it, there were a lot of adults as well there, and I was just like, it was
I've
like
never
20
seen
minutes
a head
after.
like it, though.
There was 20
Never seen a
minutes
headlock
after, and
like
they were still there, but it was a little bit like Braga back sometimes. You know, at Braga before the game, like you got a group of people, and one person to the back pushes, and you're shoving about 10 people forward. So then they were pushing into the police. And to be fair to the police, they only had to use the force when they were getting all the Albion fans were getting physical with him. But this one bloke got in a policeman's face, and the policeman just pushed him. And I've never seen someone go flying as much as that. And the guy I saw after about 5 minutes was apologising and trying to hug all the policemen and that. But I just thought at that point, I was there like they're all still stood in that section. So I just go and sit down, like. I know you want to put it on your Snapchat or your Instagram, where you're going to try and get on TV, so like ITV can catch you on the camera. But just what are you trying to achieve? So it was just.
I
It
think
was
if
just
you go
stupid,
to the
man.
football and get into a scuffle like that or anything, I feel
Could
just
lose
feel like you're
everything,
a
man.
bit of an idiot because there's cameras everywhere. You're going to get caught and they're going to throw the book at you. Football fans get, I think, as a group, football fans get a very harsh treatment by the police. You're all classed as one, and they are brutal and heavy-handed when it comes to football fans because of little groups like that. But I was talking to a bloke called Tony before the match, and he watches the pod. He's actually Ben Whittaker, the boxer's dad, and he's a man mountain. He's huge. Like I mean, I'm a big lad, but he's like he dwarfs me. And he used to work in the tunnel at Walls as part of the security team. And I spoke to him at half time before it kicked off. I said, "Any trouble today?" He went, "Nah, nothing." He said, "Expecting a quiet afternoon." So it all changed from there. But credit to Wolves fans though, Dave. Thought they were exemplary. Really, I think they were just taking the piss.
Yeah, we were. Something I haven't mentioned, which is quite funny. So on the way up to yours, Matt, I said to Vaughan and Will, I said the one thing that I hope doesn't happen is that when teams go to rivals, just smash the place up, like smash the bathroom and up or whatever.
They did that before, didn't they?
Yeah, I thought I hope I don't go back and see that on Twitter because like everyone's just going to call us scruffy bastards or whatever. And I thought just no vandalism. I don't want nothing. After the first goal, I stood on the chairs, right? This chair behind me, bang, snapped straight in half. I was like, oh no. I thought, talking about vandals, disgusted. But no, I think, like I said, Wolves fans dealt with it very, very well. Could have so easily. And I think it just got to that point. I think if we were losing or, it was level, it may have kicked off forever. But I think the fact that we're 2-0 pretty much cruising, we could just laugh at them. And I've seen tweets off Albion fans saying might have lost the derby, but we won in the stands. What have you won in the stands? Simply, you embarrass yourself. I was just there. I was laughing.
Albion fans fighting with the police, not Wolves fans.
I was laughing. I was like, "What are you on about?" Like it was genuine. I was watching it, and I've got videos on my phone because it was after like 20 minutes. I was still recording. I was still trying to go at it with the police, and I was there like just embarrassing, genuinely. So
Clutching at straws. I went to my local after the game, which is full of Albion, and I could have quite easily gone in there and started taking a piss, but I probably got chinned. So I thought better of it, and I was quite graceful in victory. But it was fucking hell, your fans are shit, and I couldn't care less. I couldn't care less for the worst fans in the world. We just beat you quite easily. Then it was but you played shit. Again, agree. Couldn't care less. Netto will be off. He's a difference. He'll be off. I went, yeah, you're probably right. And Cunha will go as well. I went, yeah, probably right at some point. And then he got to the point where Liverpool were on telly and Jota scored. He went, oh, fucking another one who jumped shit from Yao lot. I went, anything else, lads? Anything else I could see? I'm just getting shaky. But excuse after excuse after excuse. And you can see why for the last 2 weeks, they've all had the Crayolas out drawing boundary maps on the A to Z, saying, Yao in the Black Country. I can see why, because if that's all you got to go from for your team, they are dreadful.
Yeah, pants.
agreed.
Yeah, and like I say, they're arse fell out as soon as the draw happened. No Albion fan wanted to play us because they knew exactly what was going to happen. And yeah, like I say, we dealt with it comfortable, and we showed class on the pitch and off the pitch in the stands. Like I say, all you can do is laugh and keep putting the ball in the back of the net, and that's exactly what we did.
I think the players respected each other as well, though. Like in the game, even after the game, a couple of Albion players in Kyle Bartley and rumour Kipre as well. That they didn't want to play any part of it. I know Bartley went and got his kids out the crowd where it was all kicking off. Didn't come back out. I think that's probably the reason. Why else would you sub two your centre halves off? Seems a bit strange. But I mean, it's understandable. With
the game, I think they knew the game was over, wasn't it?
The atmosphere was dead after that.
Yeah, I mean, it was always going to be get to 90 minutes. I think there was only 1 or 2 minutes stoppage time. It was just like they just wanted to blow up as soon as they possibly could and just get it over. It completely killed the whole game, and yeah, it was. You can't blame them, can you? If stuff has happened to the family, or young kids are in that section, from what I've been told as well. One of my mates is seeing to get older in the Albion end, and that's where the family and friends do sit. And you've got kids on the pitch, and you've got scumbags, knuckleheads, like just wankers, just causing all this trouble. You've got people that genuinely just want to go and watch the football, and if it was, you understand if it's Carl Bartley's daughter or young kids, I'd have took my kids straight out of the ground.
Yeah.
Even if I was there as a fan and it was all kicking, I wouldn't, an Albion fan, and my kids were around, I'd be out of the ground straight away. I mean, I don't think I'm going to took young kids to that game anyway, knowing the history of it. But still, if you did it all kicked off like that, you don't want your kids involved in anything like that, or women.
I think the nation underestimated how big of a derby it is, though. I know I've been told all week that Villa's their derby, but I think they underestimated just the sheer hatred between Wolves and Albion. But there was an Albion fan who called in WM, and I thought he put it really well. He was in that section with his 11-year-old, and his 11-year-old was beside himself, and they had to leave early. And he said there shouldn't be Wolves fans in the home end, but if he jumps up and celebrates that the stewards did the job, get him out. Or you don't have to throw punches, just get him out of there. But he said in his own words, you got 30 to 40 big hard men running from the Brummie Road and try and get involved. And he said, you're embarrassing to the club. I think he's right. And if it was Wolves the other way, I'd say the same.
Oh yeah, if it happened the other way around.
Yeah, you shouldn't be selling tickets in the home end to away fans. Firstly, if you're a Wolves fan in the Albion end, you've got to behave yourself because you're going to get filled in, and rightly so.
Yeah,
but the fact that it escalated like that, I say rightly so, as in you're going to antagonise people.
You do, like I said, you would do it if, like I said earlier, if there was a Burnley fan in the South Bank, or if you were a Wolves fan at Turf Moor and did the same thing as an example, it would happen every ground. You just don't do it at the Hawthorns, full stop. But you don't need. There was enough people around him. You saw the video of the Wolves fan there. The police, he had his arm behind his back, and then you've got fucking what's his name, Noddy Holder, when he was from in Max and Paddy, throwing the fly kick towards him. You don't need to. What are you trying to achieve? And then it happened down the bottom end as well. It's just let the police do their job and carry on with the game. But I think, like you said, Matt, that they probably thought, let's just try and get this match abandoned.
They said we're going to the Albion lads are saying to get it abandoned because I'll have to replay it.
I think after 60 minutes, that's not a rule anyway, is it? You have to just play the
remaining. Well, no, they said on the ITV coverage, I think because it was after a certain minutes, the result would stand or should stand. The FA have got the ability to call the match as it stood because enough time had been played. And if it had been abandoned, I think if it would have been abandoned at that point, we'd have got the 2-0 win and would have got out of there anyway. But I'm glad that didn't happen. I'm glad we went out and finished the game because, again, that would have been the next thing that they said, you can't, asterisks and all this sort of crap.
Yeah.
There's been all that bollocks.
Yeah. Well, what an afternoon. The hoodoo's finally over. Oh, never in doubt, eh? Brighton in the next round. Be a tough game, that, but I fancy us at home.
Definitely.
And after that, in the quarters, ain't we, after that?
And then if we win that, we're in the semis.
And yeah, if we win that, we're in the final. If you win that, then
I don't know if I can go. We're another semi-final at Wembley. I really don't think I can. And it's, I know there was a lot of all Premier League ties, and a few teams got knocked out, but all the favourites seem to have gone through. So I mean, even if you beat Brighton, you still got some massive teams in there. So it's still going to be a tough one either way. But I think you get a beat Brighton, you get a quarter final at home. Again, you got every chance. You got to hope maybe for in the quarters, City and Liverpool to get each other, or City United or whatever. You want one or two of the big boys out in the quarters, and then I think you got every chance in the semis.
I'll be honest with you. I think you only want to. Other than City and Liverpool, I don't fear anyone else in the draw. Like if we got Man United or I'm trying to think of else. Newcastle, for example, at home, especially the Newcastle how they are at the moment. I'd quite fancy us at home at Molineux. You just want home draws now until you get to Wembley. I think the one thing about the Brighton draw which helps us a little bit and could actually play in our favour is like their the Conference League will be back up, won't it? So they may have one eye on that. There'll be a lot of games coming up thick and fast for them, so we may get the benefit of Brighton rotating. And if they do, take advantage of it and get through.
2 games again this week. Thick and fast, man. United on Thursday. Could be a couple of changes for Wolves, Dave. Sarabia may be fit again, but might be a couple of knocks in midfield. Is that something that you can talk about?
Yeah. No, I think there's always knocks, and I think with the amount of games, I think obviously Tommy Doyle had quite a couple of hard couple of tackles in that game. Lemire obviously hasn't been 100% still back to his full fitness. So João Gomez back available, could come straight back into the team. I'd be intrigued actually to see even if Sarabia is not 100%, even if we'll switch to, and we've not seen it, a 5-3-2. And I think against United, it'd be something interesting. You having Netto and Cunha as your front two. I know it's not great because neither of them are proper strikers or proper number 9s, but I would be intrigued to see something like that and see how that would work. I don't think we would. I think we'll stick with the normal shape. But I wouldn't be surprised to see João Gomez come straight back into the team. I couldn't tell you who for. But I think Dor's been great. I think he's played every minute of the last 5 games, I think, including the Brentford 120 minutes. And, we've won every single one of those games. So he's really, really stepped it up.
I noticed as well on Sundays how good is the defensive positioning as well. It reminds me of Neves.
Someone laughed at me when I used that as an example the other week, and I genuinely think it is. And I think in terms of his long range passing and his eye for pass, he's probably as good, if not a tad better than Neves. And I know it's quite mad to say quite early on, but I think he always looks forward, whereas Neves, unbelievable player, taking back in a heartbeat. But Neves, a lot of the time, tries to recycle play, would knock it back to the defenders, whereas Tommy Doyle, for me, always looks to drive forward or looks for the forward pass. So exciting. Obviously, very, very early days still with him, but very excited by him. I think he's a massive plus for us. But it's a massive plus that João Gomez is back too.
Looks like there could be a few injuries for United. No Martial, Malacia, Amrabat still at AFCON. Mount, Lindelof, and potentially Rashford. So it feels like a bit of a weird one, this, Jord. I don't know if you've been following it, but hadn't reported training because he was ill, but went out Wednesday night and Thursday night in Belfast, I think.
Belfast, it was a Nightingales or something, I think they said on Twitter.
But his agent's been at Man United at Carrington, the training ground, today to discuss something, and Ten Hag said there's obviously that and there's another matter going on, so it doesn't sound like he's going to play to me.
I think he will. Like, I've watched Rashford this. Well, as we all have, when Man United on TV. I've got no real time to follow Man United in any way. But Rashford this season looks a shadow of what he was last season. And he even had his problems last year. Remember when he was on the bench against us at Molineux, wasn't he? Because he was late for training. For training. Then he come off the bench and he scored that great goal. It doesn't seem like it's all roses with Ten Hag, but you could say that about the club in general. I feel like they've got so many issues at that club, and I mean, yes, Newport put the frighteners on them yesterday, and that was their first team. Like, I feel they're in a real bad light, and a bit. I think it's a great time to play Man United. We know what happened at Old Trafford. I know it seems like we say about it every week, but we deserved a lot more on the opening day of the season. And again, you play Man United at the moment. There's no fear whatsoever. Like, we're on a great run of form at home as well. Molineux's a bit of a fortress again, and I wouldn't be surprised if we turn them over comfortably. Like, I feel very confident we'll just sweep them away. I don't fear any of the players at all currently. I don't think Bruno Fernandes is playing very well. I mean, Garnacho has got a bit about him, but it's still not for me, really. And
against Semedo, you'd like to think Semedo would be able to do a job.
Yeah, and like Højlund as well. I think I mean, there's obviously a player there. They spent a lot of money on him, but again, like he didn't put the
I've
brightness
been
on you, does he?
waiting for a
You're a
miracle.
miracle. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it was. He has been playing more like Shaw Mills than Rasmus Højlund, hasn't he? Most of the season.
Scott Moore.
Scott Mills, yeah, even Scott Mills, I do. So yeah, no, look, I've got every confidence, every bit of faith that we'll go and turn them over.
Fuck. To be fair, I do fancy us. Got Chelsea on Sunday though, which I think will be probably the tougher game out of the two. No Fofana, James Cucurella for them, but Lavia and Nkunku could be back. In terms of these two games, before we come on to the questions, how many points do you think is an acceptable return?
I think if you can come out of these two games with 4 points, Wolves will be in a very, very nice position still.
Do you think we will come out with 4 points?
I can't see why not. I think you'd be... I couldn't tell you which one would get the point and which one would be, but I think both of them are beatable. I think Chelsea, like you said, is going to be the tougher game at Stamford Bridge. But we showed, we can beat them. We showed that just before Christmas. And I think we can beat Manchester United. I think with their current form, like you said, against Newport, didn't look great. And I think we more than matched them on the opening day as well. So could be having a fantastic podcast next week if we walk out with 6 points. But I think 4 points is more than acceptable.
Jord?
I think we're likely to get 3. I think
I'll take 3 still. But...
I think Chelsea have turned a bit of a corner. But I say that, and every time they seem to turn a bit of a corner, they go and lose again. But I feel like they've got a bit of balance going now. It feels like they've got like Enzo, Caicedo, Gallagher playing regularly now.
Could be off.
Well, he could be off if for the FFP stuff, but he's been probably their best player this season. Him and Palmer. I mean Palmer obviously, but Gallagher's stepped up and played really well for them. So they've got a few good players, and in Cunha when he come off the bench against us, I thought looked lively, and I know he got injured again, but they've got some good players, and I think Pochettino's a good manager as well. So yeah, it will be a difficult game, but 3 points. I think we'll beat United and we'll possibly lose at Stamford Bridge.
I think as long as this time next week, if we're having a conversation and Wolves are in the top half of the table, I think we'll be more than happy. And I think that's easily doable. 100%. You get three points, you could jump up a couple of places. So I think you look Newcastle at the moment on really poor form still. Then above that, you got Chelsea. United are only 3 points ahead of us with a much worse goal difference, actually. Same, Brighton, 3 points ahead of us. So, we're doing all right. And I can't remember if I said it to you, Matt. I think this second half of the season, if we could just match or better our results from the first half of the season, you're going to be in a really nice place. And I think you can start off with Manchester United. That'd be brilliant.
No, bro, you're for Wolves because he'll be playing against his parent club. I'm only joking. Should we talk a little bit about transfers?
We've got some questions. We've got some questions about them, to be fair.
Yeah, okay. Just before we go on to that, I want to talk about Liquidator. Do you think that Wolves should bring it back? From when I spoke previously, they are open to it. It's not West Midlands Police or the council who are stopping them. It's a club decision. But they feel if they were to bring it back, it would have to replace Hi-Ho Silver Lining. Would you take that?
But why does it have to replace Hi-Ho Silver Lining?
That's what they said. They feel that that's its best place.
I think you have Liquidator right at the start and then you move into Hi-Ho Silver Lining after that, surely.
I think there's too much, though, because you have to play the...
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'd play Hi-Ho Silver Lining, then the Premier League music. Like, even play Hi-Ho Silver Lining 5 minutes before kickoff, or a couple minutes before. Then do the Premier League. If it's in the club's decision, the Liquidator to be played, why wouldn't you play it? Like, you've seen it at the weekend, like, just play the Liquidator.
Saying that, though, do you remember, did I ever tell you the story about Sweet Caroline?
Yeah.
That the club, well, not the club, but there were certain people from the club that wanted to replace Hi-Ho Silver Lining with Sweet Caroline. And I think it got by people that understood Wolverhampton Wanderers, it got very quickly shut up,
Yeah, but I think Liquidator is a better shout than Sweet Caroline.
No, 100%. But I still think you do Liquidator just as the players are coming out. Then you go into the Premier League theme or whatever, and then you have the Hi-Ho Silver Line because that's when they sort of read the lineups out, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. You can play. There's a room for both. Why pick? Embrace them,
I think the players could, in an ideal world, come out the tunnel to the Liquidator, and then because at the minute they just play Led Zeppelin, don't they?
Yeah, they play Led Zeppelin. Yeah, they do.
Kashmir, isn't it?
Catch me, yeah. And then it's the Prem music, and then it's Hi-Ho Silver Lining.
Would you be happy if they did swap Hi-Ho Silver Lining for the Liquidator? So I love Hi-Ho Silver Lining, but the Liquidator, I feel like with Hi-Ho Silver Lining, you sing Hi-Ho Wolverhampton and it's a bit dead until the chorus builds up again. Whereas the Liquidator, it's like everyone sings it throughout the da 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 da.
Yeah. There's just room for both.
Yeah.
There's room for both. Like, but if now, because I think the myth has always been it's the West Midlands Police for whatever reason. But it's not. If it's not, then the club need to listen. Like, you know,
because I feel like if we were to, from this podcast, if we could gather enough momentum, we could realistically get it back.
I know. I think we should get a trend going or something. So if we need it back. And Dave, you've just
on YouTube, put in the comments whether you want it back, and if you would be happy for it to replace Hi-Ho Silver Lining, and we can. I say see what we can do, but if it gets enough noise, the club will look at it because the club are very open to bettering the atmosphere and hearing what fans have to think of it.
What are you going to say, Jord?
I was going to say Dave just fitted a fire for someone at the club as well. So
I know the guy that sorts all the pre-match stuff out as well. So I mean, I can ask why it's not a thing, but
I know why it's not a thing. It's just a choice.
Because of the fact, what do they want to be more family friendly or what?
That's again what I heard previously. It was more of a family friendly decision.
I think from a club brand point of view, it's like, do we really want to play a song where people shout expletives? But they're not against it. They're not against it at all. And if there was enough appetite from fans, and they would play it. So if people want it, let's try and get it.
Yeah, let's get it before the end of the season. Let's try and movement. Yeah.
Or even if they trial, I don't know, next home game that isn't Man United, they trial replacing Hi-Ho Silver Lining with a Liquidator and see what fans think. Let us know, and then I'm sure we could put a tweet out or something, Dave, or a poll or anything like just to. Off the back of it, if there's enough appetite in the YouTube comments,
there'll be some good comments because I think people have a decent opinion on this. Or even if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, just drop us a tweet or whatever. We'll give you thoughts on it, or quote the tweet that the podcast is on.
But if you're gonna put a comment like you don't want the Liquidator back, then bother.
Don't bother. I'm a firm believer. I think we get both. Like we don't need to replace one with it. Just get them both going.
Because you heard the first beat dropped. The whole ground,
brilliant.
Albion play it every week anyway, but I just feel it builds the atmosphere better because it's not just a hi-ho Wolverhampton. It's everyone sings along with the chorus.
Yeah,
and
I'll tell you what you do. You do Liquidator Premier League music Wonder Review a bit later on when more people are in the ground, mate.
No, I like how Hull City play Can't Help But Fall in Love.
Oh man, brilliant!
It's class. If you could just have Elvis for an hour,
yeah. Getting back on the pitch to the Astro Pay challenge as well. Might have a chance of doing it then.
I might actually go and sign up at the fan zone. You know,
they just need. Why can't they just do a Talking Wall special?
I'll let me leave that with me as well because I did ask before, didn't I? I might be able to get us in there. I think it'd be funny, man.
You do.
I genuinely don't.
We're over promising stuff here. First, it's a Liquidator. No. Now Jord's going to get us on the Astro Pay. Now Dave told us that Matt Hobbs has said he's going to bring 5 players in before the end.
I did not say that. For the record, I did not say that. No, but the thing with the Astro Pay thing, no disrespect to the people that have tried it. There's some people that can't even get the ball off the ground. So we'll bring Finn in to fill that quota for us for one night only. Return.
I've not kicked the ball in nearly 3 years, so I'm not going to be very much good. But
give it a go. I reckon Jord's got it in the locker.
Yeah, Jord's got it.
Pays for the Talking Walls night out. Whoever wins it anyway.
It would, yeah. It's about $6,000 now, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
I think I need to make the O bigger.
I reckon it's only as big as the ball.
First time in my life I've ever said that. Questions? Ethan's asked, as it's looking like the 2 striker targets are Broja and Ekitike, which option would you rather have on loan with an option to buy? For me personally, he would prefer Ekitike. Dave? What's going on with this?
I
Talking
genuinely
more.
don't.
Breaking news.
Neither of them. I'd be very, very, very surprised if either of these join Wolves by the end of the month. For one reason or other, Ekatike is on absolutely ridiculous wage. Brozier, Chelsea want mad money. So unless Wolves can somehow broker a late deal with them to just have a straight loan, yeah. If it's a question of who do I prefer, I'm not going to sit here and say I've loads and loads of either of them, but I think they're both very obviously talented footballers. I think they'd add something to our squad. I think Brozier would probably be the one that would be adjusted to the Premier League a lot quicker.
That's my thoughts as well.
Yeah, Ekatike, I think if you're just bringing him on a 6-month loan, you're spending a lot of money and you're not guaranteed much. Yeah.
He ain't played much either. I know Brozier hasn't, but Ekatike hasn't either, has he?
Yeah, and he's on mad money, so it would. Yeah, I think that would be a much more difficult deal to broker. But
It's Brozier, mate.
Yeah, brilliant.
Jord, broker or Ekatike?
I think if you're going for one of those two, it's Brower, but we know Brower's it's just not going to happen. Like we just know the money's stupid for both, so people can keep reporting what they want to report, but as far as we know, it's not going to happen, is it? So
I still think they'll get. I still think they'll get one.
I think they'll get one.
Bamford.
Patrick Bamford, was that a Talking Wolves exclusive?
We'll soon find out.
I don't think he's scoring goals again for Leeds, I know.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what we should have done at the start of the show, which we never did? Has anybody seen?
I did. You know what? I genuinely thought about
Adrian Giles.
I wrote down about 6 or 7 things. I was thinking about doing. I thought I'm just going to click and I can't be arsed with all the hate. Yeah, whack. Has anyone seen the Boiler Man? Whack.
Dale is
that.
Does O'Neill deserve a lot more credit than he's getting among managers spoken about this season? To be fair, I personally think he's a bit of a media darling.
I don't think he gets loads and loads of praise, but at the same time, I sort of like it. Stay under the radar a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if he carries on and we finish in a similar sort of position. If certain clubs, possibly even nations, don't seriously take a look at him. But I'd be intrigued to see what happens in the summer with Gary O'Neill.
I've noticed as well, whenever he's doing like post-match or pre-match, he does this thing where he puts his hands in his pockets and he talks and he goes.
Yeah, I watched his last thing. He has some mad facial expressions.
Like he's always like doing.
He's like got a twitch on his mouth. He's like,
it's a good. Bless him. Probably just nerve, I'd imagine.
Yeah,
probably his nerves.
I think he speaks really well, though, personally.
100%. Yeah, I think he gets. Well, I think he's done an unbelievable job. I think he probably gets enough credit nationally in terms of the job he's doing. I feel that Wolves fans. I think the essays help, right? I still think that people. The only reason why Wolves fans and other fans don't look at him in such a light is because it's not like a fancy name, and it was quite an unfashionable appointment, wasn't it? And
I went across a lot. I thought it was a cheap.
I don't think anyone was. Yeah, it was, but I think at that time you had to get behind him. Like it was just he's got the job. He's Fosun's man. Like whether you like it or lump it, he's the guy. And fortunately, it's worked out for them. It could have completely gone south, and it was a cheap option, I think, compared to other people. But he's more than done enough for us. And I don't. The thing is, like, say, I don't know. I know he's I think he's a West Ham fan, isn't he? I think he plays for West Ham. If Moyes left in the summer and West Ham coming for him, I still don't think he'd leave us. I just think like he understands and recognises we are a big club. Like in terms of in the same stance that West Ham are a big club. I'm not saying we're City coming from or Liverpool, which ain't going to happen, by the way. They coming from, of course, he's going to go, but I don't think he'd leave us for West Ham.
I think right now, a lot of it might depend on budgets and stuff, though, because if he comes into the summer and he's in demand, and Wolves are like, well, genuinely, mate, we haven't really got any budget again, and West Ham will go like, join us and we'll give you 80 million. I think, and it's closer to home for him. Who knows? But no, I think he's got a lot of credit in the bank at the moment, and that's why I'm a little bit disappointed. I understand the club situation. I think I understand every club situation with the profit and sustainability in FFP. But I think Wolves should have said, "Look, Gary, you've done well. We'll do our best to try and get you someone in sooner rather than later."
But
Which
Yeah.
might still happen, but I don't know.
I think with that though, now Everton and Forest have actually been done, or the sanctions coming for Forest. I know Everton have already been done. I think Wolves look like they did the right thing, towing the line. But I think clubs are just shit scared to even get close to
Yeah.
it, aren't they? They
No,
don't
for
want
sure.
sanctions.
I still think that like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we'll see quite a few loan deals.
Yeah, there will be. It'll move. It'll
Yeah.
start moving.
Next question is from Kieran. He's asked 3. No, he hasn't. He's asked 2. The last one's a statement. What do you think about the overall ticketing availability for both home and away games? Well, availability is not something you can control, but the process we'll talk about. What capacity do you think we could fill at Molineux realistically? I think 36, 37 tops, I think. Like regularly in big games, like 40, 45, but...
Yeah, I did think about that, and I think if you squeeze to 40, you'd have to dramatically drop ticket prices to make sure you fill the ground. And I think you still make a good amount of money, to be fair, but I think you go 35, 36, you'd still do quite well there. Would it be interesting? I think the plans that some plans have done the rounds last week of the sort of Molineux quarter or whatever it's called. Yeah, I was about to say they were old plans. I'd love to see that come to fruition sooner rather than later, but I think that helps with financial stuff, doesn't it? FFP. It
No,
goes
it
in
doesn't
your
really help, but it doesn't go anything that's like infrastructure doesn't go into FFP.
Oh, does it not?
Sustainability, whatnot.
But
I
don't necessarily. Yeah, I think there was a time where I thought 45,000 a few years ago, but I think that you're right. 35 to 30, 38, maybe 35 to 38. I think you'd probably feel it still. But I mean, if we got relegated or whatever, which seemed like, I don't think we'd get over 30 in the championship.
It's not going to happen anyway. So it's we'd have to be at the club for quite a long time, see a bit of a return on that investment, and I don't think that's going to happen. In terms of the availability for home games and away games, I think it's pretty standard now for clubs to have memberships to be able to have the opportunity to purchase tickets. I think Wolves is still quite reasonably priced in terms of the membership. Ticket pricing itself is another thing in compared to other clubs. And I think away games, now they've brought that ballot in, I think it's probably as fair as it possibly can be. There's always going to be winners and losers, but I think holistically that's the fairest way you can do it.
Well, for the West Brom game, I saw obviously a lot of people moaning, but I know of people that went to 2 friendly games and the Blackpool Cup game at the end of the season, and they got tickets. So they didn't have to do any other away games. There was an opportunity there to do it. I think you had to be on the ball and be still quite fortunate, but there were away games. I know, Brighton, I think, went to general sale, which I understand because it's a horrible journey in a Monday night. So there was opportunities there for people to get the points. So I think the availability is fine. I said, like you said, Matt, I think on the ballot, I've won twice and I've only entered it 2 or 3 times. So
I've won once.
Yeah. So, there's every chance you can do it. So I think the availability is sound. I think if you're on the ball, especially with home tickets, if you're on the ball, you got a membership, you'll be sound. I might have to start a ticket finder's fee, by the way, because the amount of people that message me for home and away tickets is ridiculous, like genuinely ridiculous.
Set up a payment gateway on the website, mate.
Mate, I'm genuinely needing to source like 6 extra tickets per game, predominantly away games. But oh my god, I won't use names.
You're the man that can, though, ain't you? That's what.
The man in the know.
The man who's got mug written on his forehead.
Jim B has asked if he managed to get Europe, would Netto, Gomez, Aït-Nouri stay, or will they be sold? I think Netto would go. I think the rest would stay. Aït-Nouri, he didn't really look interested at the weekend. He went to walk off, but Gary O'Neill and Sean Derry said, like, no, go and clap the fans, which I thought was pretty cool. But I think Netto would go. Probably that's it. Depends what Europe we got.
Yeah, it depends.
Depends, yeah.
I think I think you almost need to, and again, this is a conversation I had. I think it's going to get to a point now, especially with the financial thing, and if Fosun are genuinely wanting us to be self-sustainable, you're going to have to get to a point where if you have a half decent season, we almost need to learn from our mistakes from the past where we didn't sell early enough. As mad as it sounds, you have one big sale a summer and you use that. And I think you sell Netto, let's say lower end 60 million, and then you've still got probably 40 to 50 million worth of players out on loan. You know, you got Fabio, Sasha, Guedes, Kundal. You know, you probably get, you know, close to 40 million for those at least. You know, so that can fund you summer then. So let's wait and see what happens. Because Wolves have got a big squad, although it doesn't feel like it at the moment. Wolves have got a lot of players, you know, but unfortunately most of them can't be asked to be here or aren't good enough. And that's still sort of the aftermath of quite a poor transfer strategy and regime from previous people.
Yeah, I see. Sorry, I was going to say, like, I think in the summer we'll lose Netto, and I think we'll lose Aitnery as well. I can see us losing both.
What do you think we get for both? About 100 mil
for who? Netto and Aitnery?
Yeah,
I think you get 40 mil for Aitnery.
Yeah, 60 for Netto and 60 for Netto. Eh?
I don't think you do. I think you get like 30 tops.
No, I think the big clubs are sniffing, and rightly so when it comes to both of them really.
So was Dave, Sunday. He wasn't. I don't think he'd even know what to do with it.
You look at someone like you look at City. I think you look at City, Arsenal, and Liverpool. Let's just take in the Premier League. I think all three need a left back, or you could argue need an actual left back like Aitnery, because I think Robertson's coming to the end of his cycle. Man City haven't got one that does that. They've got Sergio Gomez, haven't they? I think, but they play a centre half there typically, and Arsenal with Zinchenko not really done it. So I see a move for him. I think there's a move for him in the Premier League. Don't know if I want to see that, by the way, or advocate it, but
would you swap Arsenal offer you? Not that it would happen. A swap deal, Kieran Tierney for Aitnery. Maybe a bit of cash coming our way.
Who's Kieran Tierney?
Tierney, or whatever his name is.
I'd have an Nketiah swap deal, I think.
Nah, he's gash.
Nah, he's good, man.
No, there's a few there you take. Well, you know, Smith Rowe. There's a few of them that you could go. Well, they do the job for us. Reece Nelson. Like, there's a few now. I guess.
Yeah.
Now we're cooking.
Like all over again.
Remember that? Oh my god.
Yeah.
FCT Louis said, has Matt Cooper got any fingernails left before Neto's goal went? Have any fingernails left before Neto's goal went in? My hands are so I bite my nails at the best of times, but they're in bits. They're in absolute bits. But I still feel, I feel like it's all a dream.
I had a proper WhatsApp from someone yesterday, and you know, it was like a picture of a middle finger, and it says "boing boing" on this. I'll put it in the chat after. I didn't read the message till this morning. I was just creasing. I was like, that is a WhatsApp post.
It's nearly as good like beef stock, chicken stock, laughing stock.
Yeah.
Or you remember the picture of the bloke like pissing and like he's wearing either like a wool shirt.
Yeah, little cartoon guy.
Yeah, and it's got the same for every club.
Yeah.
Class.
Now we all know what we're really here. It's a career path game. People have got an hour and 7 minutes. We've treated you here. But are you ready? Are you ready, guys?
I don't feel like I'm usually up for it, banged up for it. I don't feel like I'm up for it, but I need to, you know.
Oh, he's got his excuse in early. That's it.
I sound like an album.
I'm getting up for it. If Dave goes 4-0, I'm going to abandon it.
Yeah, he's going to expose himself on the podcast. Stop. They would have a right editing job on 400 Zoom trying to get rid of it. He first started his career at West Ham United in 1986, where he scored 7 goals in 72 appearances before moving to Manchester United in 1989, scoring 25 goals.
Paul Ince.
It's Paul Ince.
Oh, God.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. He's not even
a few goals.
Jord really slow out the blocks, mate.
So I don't want up for it the other day. Let's go.
Your second player started his career in 2016 for Barcelona SC, scoring 3 goals in 16 appearances before moving to Wolverhampton Wanderers in 2020, making 0 appearances and obviously scoring 0 goals.
Leonardo Campana.
He's Leandro Campana.
Yes, come on. I got confused by the Barcelona bit.
How have you still got his signed shirt there,
It's
Dave?
behind me somewhere, yeah.
Can we see it or?
Yeah. I'm making a mess of it, but
It's the only shirt Dave's brought that's managed to lose value.
there you go.
Oi! I didn't
Wow.
know who he was.
Just to let fans know he's real.
He actually existed. It wasn't a figment of my imagination. Well done, though, Dave.
Did I ever tell you a story on that very quickly? Because they did like an auction on Europa League shirts, and his was there, and I thought, right, realistically, who's am I going to get? So I just bid. I had him on my Football Manager saying he was doing all right, so I bid like 250 quid for that. And then our auction finished, and Patricio's signed shirt only went for about 150. I was fuming.
How much did you pay for it?
250 quid,
Jesus Christ.
which isn't awful, but still not great.
It fucking is.
Yeah, it's bad.
Just a charity, respect.
Whoa. What was it? The Talking Wolves Foundation again? You're going to have to be quick on this one, guys. Because as soon as you hear the second club, I think you're going to know. This player started his career at Wolves in 1997, scoring 7 goals in 293 appearances before moving to Celtic in 2006, scoring 3 goals in 100 games.
Lee
Lee
Naylor.
Naylor?
Oh,
I think that was definitely me.
it was
That was
definitely
fine.
Dave, mate. It was Dave.
No, wow.
No, mate, it was Dave.
I said it, and I heard him about a second later.
It's your latest season.
I'm the
So
referee.
yeah, I'm happy to give a draw on that.
I think.
He's checking the VAR.
Go away.
I reckon we void that one, Matt.
No, it was Dave. It was you, Dave. I know it was you.
Oh, okay.
When we listen back, I tell you what, if we listen back and it's clear and obvious error, then I hold my hands up.
The thing is that there was just a delay. I think me and Jord knew it as soon as you said Celtic.
Yeah,
We're
no,
like,
as soon as
right.
said, as soon as said,
And I was like,
yeah.
it's just like, yeah. I'll take the point,
I promise you, I promise you, I heard Dave about a second after I said it Lee Naylor, then I
I
heard
felt I was
in my
first,
ears.
but
Well, I'm the referee, so I couldn't give a fuck what you were.
Yeah, true. It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace.
I'll have Martin Cassidy from Ref Support UK on the blower to you, mate.
I'll be writing a letter to PGML in a second.
I think it was Dave.
Okay.
I'll give myself the point, but if we do check the tapes back and it was Jord, then I'll happily award him the point back.
But, I mean, we're on for a whitewash here. It doesn't matter because Jord won't do it anyway. But we won't. We won't. His arse is twitching like a rabbit's nose. Look at him. He don't know what to do.
We'll wait for the audio to be played back on that third one.
That's what I mean. We won't celebrate too early, just in case Jord didn't nick it. But I don't think he did. Your fourth player started his career at Aston Villa in 1991, scoring 0 goals in 52 appearances. During his time at Villa, he had loan spells in 1991 at Bromsgrove Rovers, where he didn't make an appearance. In 1992, Gloucester City, making 19 appearances.
Tony Daly?
Who, sorry?
Tony Daly?
Not Tony Daly.
Oh,
You're
mate,
locked
I was gonna say that.
You're frozen.
Sake.
1993, you moved on loan to Scarborough, making 1 appearance. Before 1994, moving to Tranmere Rovers on loan, making 0 appearances. He then signed for Wolves permanently in 1999, where he made 199 appearances before ending his career in 2007-08 season at Cardiff City, where he made 11.
Michael Oakes.
Michael Oakes.
Hey.
It's Michael Oakes. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me
I was
now?
going to say Daly, to be fair, George. So it's a good job you jumped to there.
Well, I saw you were about to say something, so I thought I've got to go here. Like I could see you about to. It was on the. Like,
Don't
tongue.
come. Ready?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Your fifth and final player started his career at Colchester United in 2002, scoring 18 goals in 136 appearances during his time at Colchester.
George Elokobi?
It's not George Elokobi.
Oh, no.
I had to go-
I thought it was topical.
In 2003, whilst he was at Colchester, he moved on loan to Braintree Town, and also Aylesbury United before moving to Reading in 2007 permanently, where he made 3 appearances, scoring 0 goals. He then moved to Sunderland in 2007, where he made 8 appearances, scored 0 goals. During his time at Sunderland, he moved on loan to Charlton Athletic in 2008, scoring 2 in 16. And then in the 08-09 season, he moved on loan to Sheffield United, where he scored 4 in 41. He then moved to Wolves permanently in 2009, making 17 appearances.
Greg Halford.
It's Greg Halford.
Yeah.
He's Greg Halford. Now, it could be a whitewash, but we need to go back and have a look and really check. So the result is on ice at the minute.
I think I did. I genuinely did say it first.
I think you did as well, Dave. It was very close. It was very close. But I think you nicked it. We'll find out pretty soon when you do the edit. But Jord, thoughts on your performance after that?
It's a real tough game when you go behind because you start getting real scared. And Michael Oakes, I would have had that. I think.
What did you say, Tony Daly?
Because Dave was about to say something. I thought he was about to go. I could see it in his face. So I thought I'd have to go with it. But yeah. It's disappointing, but we move on to next week. And if I have lost, I know the TikTok is still down at the moment. So if I have genuinely lost 5-0, there will be £25 going to the foundation.
Dave, another win for you. It could be a whitewash, but we're not too sure yet. But victory was certainly yours. How do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was definitely a whitewash, Matt. I think after 2-0, I saw Jord. He wanted to try and postpone the game somehow, but yeah, it was a dominant victory as per usual.
And you're now flying high at the top of the table. Do you feel like you can win it,
mate? I'm 13 points ahead. We're absolutely laughing, mate. We are laughing. You take Finn's points, even if I gave those to Jord, I'd be still 10 points ahead. So. Thoughts?
Interesting. Thanks for your time, Dave. That's all we've got time for, lads. That was a superb podcast. If I do say so myself, remember to let us know in the description down below about a Liquidator, whether you want it back and whether you'd be happy to have it back if it replaced Hi-Ho Silver Lining. But yeah, Dave, where can people find you? Should they wish to follow you?
At Dave Azopardi on Twitter and Instagram, and obviously LinkedIn. I don't think I've logged on to LinkedIn for a long time. But yeah, Twitter and Instagram, get at me.
Jord?
Yeah, Jordan Russell. Oh, sorry, Jordan Russell. That's LinkedIn. And then Jord7 on Twitter, or X, as we call it. Yeah.
Wonderful. We are talking Wolves across all socials. And look, Wolves will beat the Albion, so I'm sure everyone's going to have a wonderful week. I don't need you to tell you to have a wonderful week. I went to the gym earlier and sat in the hot tub, and I was so happy to talk about football. So happy to any bloke who come yeah, mate, you watch the football yesterday? Yeah, great. Normally I'm quite subdued. But yeah, have a wonderful week all. It's a busy week for football. And hopefully we come back and we've still got those. What are you staring at?
Who?
You? You just look like a really angry face all of a sudden.
I was just listening.
I thought it was something I said.
Passive aggressive as a part of.
Hopefully we can do the business against United and Chelsea. And we'll be back on next Tuesday. So yeah, see you next Tuesday. Grow up. Take care. We're not the Wolves.